Good morning everybody here in this group. I hope everyone is doing great. I hope everyone had a great Memorial Day weekend. And I hope that many of you who were in the redecorating mood got some good deals online, because it was definitely a good time for buying those extra things that you've been waiting for, and wanted to really catch a good sale and some good discounts. So I hope that you guys did that. That was my experience over the weekend, where I was taking care of styling this really beautiful home in Texas. 2 homes in Texas actually, and it was such a fun time. We worked really hard, many hours straight, in taking care of these 2 homes that were really going from this through a transition, right? One of the things I love about the Sacred Interiors concept is that a lot of the clients that come my way are usually going through some sort of rite of passage, right? They have either gotten a new home because they just got married, or they're having a new baby, or maybe their children are leaving the home, or maybe they went through a divorce and now have a new home, a new partner, whatever it might be. And so I love that aspect, and it was definitely part of what I was doing this weekend in Texas in those 2 homes. And it was a really rewarding experience to be able to bring some beauty into these homes that were being held as houses, and then suddenly through all these beautiful sacred process, it becomes a sacred home instead of just a house. So really lovely. If you're not on Instagram, check out some pictures I have there, and I think the same ones go on Facebook. So maybe you guys have seen some of the things that I did this weekend, but I'll definitely post some professional pictures soon when they come. But in the meantime, welcome everyone. If you're new to the group, welcome. My name is Paula Bettenker, and you've probably seen my masterclass, or you've probably read my intro in this book, either or. And so you know that I'm an interior designer and a Kundalini yoga teacher, and I specialize in helping women align their interior, the essence of who they are, with their exterior, making a sacred home. So my interior design approach is all about sacredness. I don't entertain myself with only pretty stuff, and I don't normally work with clients who just want to entertain themselves with pretty things and want to just shop and get into this more materialistic decorating way. I don't have anything against it, it's just not where my heart and soul is. So I love being able to go beyond the physical things and use them as an opportunity to remind you of your values, to remind you of who you're striving to be as a woman, as a mother, as a wife, as a human being in this planet. So welcome. This is going to be part of our weekly trainings. I'm here every Tuesday. I may have skipped last week. I did skip last week because my children were sick. So I didn't jump on here and really just focus on them, which is all part of this crazy mom life. And so thank you for that patience and waiting for me. But that just only brought even more clarity and more confirmation of all these things that I share with you guys about making a home sacred. So this third week of the shifts that we are doing is going to be all about decluttering the mind and decluttering the home. So that's the 3rd shift in my masterclass. If you haven't seen it yet, go to sacredinteriorsacademy.com and you can watch the masterclass there. But if you have, then you may have connected with that shift, the 3rd one, which I would say is probably the main shift that we work with for the Sacred Interiors Academy. It's the main shift because from the space of having a decluttered mind, we can have a completely different perspective of our cluttered or decluttered home. So I'll say that again. From the standpoint of having a decluttered mind, we will have a different perspective, a clearer perspective of a decluttered home. So This training today isn't going to be about the logistics and the strategy on how to declutter the home and the mind. We're just going to dive deeper into the why and into the what, the connection. I have 2 trainings before these, so feel free to go into the videos after you watch this. And you can there see what system I use for decluttering, and also a few meditations and a few techniques for decluttering the mind. But today I want to share with you and go deeper into the why, into what the link and what the connection is. This is a question I get a lot of the times, is like, what is she talking about? What do you mean declutter the mind? I just want my kitchen to be empty and the counters to be clean, and I want my my living room to not be full of stuff. But in my experience, in my approach, in my calling, the declutter mind is the main aspect of a sacred home. The declutter mind is the main aspect of sacred parenting, sacred relationships, sacred work, sacred business, sacred anything. If you are on a path of wanting to be a better human being, if you're on a path of wanting to always learn new things, always learn more about yourself, always become more aware of who you are and what you're doing, then you're on a spiritual path, which we all are in many different ways. But if you're on that path, then decluttering the mind is the main aspect to get there. Because when we have the mind in a way that is more spacious, that it's more available, that can breathe more. Oftentimes during my academy, we talk about letting your room breathe. And it's the same way with the mind. And it is literally breathe, as in using your breath, right? Your mouth, your nose, using your lungs and the capacity of them to really, bring in life force, which is prana, into your body. But I'm talking about the spaciousness to be able to have more clarity, to be able to be more focused, to be able to have more motivation, to be able to have more commitment to what you're doing. So it's inevitable that most people, and there's science that proves it, most people can't function as well in an environment that is cluttered. This is talking about a physical environment, right? An office space that is cluttered and full of stuff everywhere and all that stuff. There is data, there are research that proves people do not work as effectively, people do not feel as good. I have all these different images I was looking for the other day of workspaces that have really made an effort to have designers come in and create beautiful spaces for their employees when they're working on the computer or on the telephone, if they're doing marketing calls or whatever. And I was reading the research on how much the productivity levels of those employees has increased just because their environment is more beautiful, their environment is more spacious, they're not boxed into little cubicles anymore. They have more room to breathe, more room to see, their view is nicer, right? So I'm rambling a little bit and getting off track a bit, but it's all gonna come together because when we have more spaciousness in our home, in our room, in where we are doing our work, we also have more ability to focus. But even though the physical space is a beautiful, important aspect, in my approach, in the Sacred Interiors approach, the way where we take it deeper, when we take it many steps further, is from the mind. Because physical clutter in many ways is inevitable. Most people who have decluttered their home once, twice, or 100 times know that clutter always ends up coming back. Now here is where I differentiate a little bit in terms of what is a mess of a home being lived in versus clutter. But let's call even mess clutter for now, just for the sake of making my point. So when we have done that, when we have decluttered and cleaned out and gotten rid of stuff and put things away, guess what? Before you know it, it's coming back because it's part of life. It's part of your day-to-day. If you have a husband, if you have children, if you have roommates, if you have anyone that you share your space with, even your animals, There's going to be stuff that they're going to use. There's going to be stuff that's going to lay around. And there's going to be stuff that, guess what? It's going to trigger you. Why? Because we're humans, but also because the mind is wired to pick up on things to react. So our work to have a sacred home, to hold space for a sacred lifestyle, has to start with decluttering the mind. And that is something that we have to do every single day. Just like you wash your dishes, just like you brush your teeth, just like you eat, just like you take care of your body and you take care of your home in one way or another, there's always a daily chore that we do. It is the same thing for the mind. So what I have noticed is that not just in myself, but in the people I work with and the clients that come to me that join my Sacred Interiors program, because they are so impatient and so irritated with their family because they're so messy and they leave their shoes by the entry and it's all like crap, right? Backpacks everywhere, notebook everywhere, all that stuff. What I always notice is that a lot of the times, though we go through the process of redecorating, of finding a special function for each area, of finding a place where everything goes, finding really a system and a strategy to keep things neat and organized, clutter always comes back. But what happens when we have a practice of decluttering the mind is that clutter does not trigger us as much. When we have a practice of cleansing the mind, of connecting to a deeper space of who we are, then when we open our eyes, like literally, and you see your physical space being messy, being full of stuff, not be this ideal space you want, you now have the ability to have better decision-making skills. You now have the ability to be less scattered in starting one task and not finishing it. You have the ability to get yourself from point A to point B, accomplish those things that you need to do, get more organized, make better use of your time, and infinite different things. I hope I'm making my point already, because I cannot emphasize this enough. And of course, if you have any questions, whether you're here live today or if you're watching the replay, feel free to send me a message or feel free to comment below. I'm happy to answer your questions. But what happens with this process of decluttering the mind is also beyond having all those things I mentioned, is also beyond being more focused, more productive, more efficient, which are beautiful benefits, because most of us are feeling the opposite. Am I right? Most of us are feeling unaccomplished, we're feeling unproductive, we're feeling like our home is ungrateful because we're always doing stuff and it feels like it never ends. It feels like not only the to-dos in our lists never end, but also we can never really get our place to look cohesive, to be put together. One of the homes that I went to this weekend, the owner had lived in it for 7 years, if I'm not wrong. And it's taken 7 years for him to, which is a man, by the way, I was working with, which I usually work with women, but I found that pretty cool. He had been living there for 7 years. And for 7 years, he never did anything with his home. And for 7 years, he had the idea of doing something with his home, but he never did. And what I noticed was this sort of really big release, really big sense of relief, of accomplishment when I left. And even this morning, I received a really beautiful email from him. But I felt this sort of sense of arrival, sense of, okay, I am home. And now I can check off all those things that I've been wondering about and that I've been questioning and that I've been wanting to take care of, so that I can use my energy more purposefully. Like, look, your home is very important, is why I do what I do. It's sacred, it's your temple, it's your space of worship, it's your space of reverence. But it doesn't mean you should be a slave to it. I don't want you guys to think that the whole purpose of seeing the home as a sacred home is to become a slave of your master and to always constantly be doing stuff to it all of the time. It's actually the opposite. What I want you guys to be able to do when you create your sacred home and design it and get it all together is to feel that sense of relief, that sense of release, where you now know this is done and this now is your shelter. And yes, all these mundane day-to-day tasks have to happen, but as a whole, it becomes this sort of womb that holds space for you. And now you can stop wasting your energy with thinking of all these things and spending so much money and time and energy into taking care of your homes so that you can get out there in the world where you are needed the most, so that you can have the presence to be there with your children, raising them, connecting with them, working on their emotional space, working on their spiritual life, working together on the things that really matter. But when our mind is so chaotic and so worried and so fatigued with all these lists of things we have to do, and we don't have the tools to cleanse it, we don't have the tools to create more space within it, then guess what? All that junk that is flying around in the mind, all that clutter is what you're going to spew out at your kids, your spouses, your pets, your relatives, your employees, even your clients, whatever it is that you do, your friendship, or yourself, because it ultimately, that junk in your mind becomes toxic and becomes self-sabotaging and destructive to yourself and to your life. So I hope that this message of decluttering your mind comes across with the love and with the importance that I want it to come across with, right? I don't mean to sound negative in terms of creating fear in how you're dealing with your day-to-day, because the greatest time to start making changes is now. The greatest way to start making changes in your home is now, in yourself is now, in your parenting is now, in your relationships is now, in your career is now. I have found that with the simple task, the consistent task of every day taking care of the mind, decluttering it, and creating this spacious intention for yourself and for your mind is the first step to creating the life that we want, is the first step to creating the life that you want, is the first step to become all those things that you want to be and that you need to be able to embody and apply so that you can get there. Because the idea of being that person is good, is great, is important, but the day-to-day action, the everyday action to get there is what really gets you results. Okay? I can't emphasize that enough. So please, if you have any questions, reach out. I'm happy to help. This is where we dive into the most in Sacred Interiors Academy. We go into the depths of understanding what it is that you want to manifest in your home, what it is that you want to manifest in your life, and what tools are needed to get there. And then the last layer is this decorating physical aspect. Without the inner space, without the decluttered mind, without the sharpness, the spacious thought patterns, without the emotional capacity to handle your life, we are not really going to get anywhere by just decorating and making your house look pretty with curtains and pillows and coffee tables. It is not going to be worth it. It's not going to be important. We need to be able to merge the two, and that's what I'm the most passionate about. So if you need help, please reach out, send me a message, comment below. Anywhere you want to reach me is good. I am here, I am plugged in, I am available. Sacred Interiors Academy is still open for enrollment. We are open all year long. We have people coming in and out all of the time, and it's been such an amazing journey to see those women who have come in feeling irritated, feeling impatient, feeling unable to take care of the simplest tasks, to being able to have more clarity, to have more balance, to be more patient, to be less irritated, to be less impulsive, and to have more reverence for themselves and more reverence for their homes as they are able to accomplish more because they are more focused, okay? So keep up. If you've joined the 40-day challenge for the simple nervous system calming breath, then awesome. Let me know how you're doing. Those of you who have that challenge, as far as your daily routine, let me know how it's going. I love to hear about what challenges you're coming up with, or even more importantly, what breakthroughs have happened for you by committing to that way of self-care, and also what perspective has come upon, or what shift in your perspective has happened in the way that you see your home, in the way that you see your clutter or your mess. Because again, there's beauty in having that clean, spacious, beautiful space, but there's even more beauty in seeing it not be exactly where you want it to be, but with a decluttered mind and with a center mind and with a calm mind, where you now know what to do and what step to take. Otherwise, we're just spiraling in this cycle of clutter in the physical space, clutter in the mind, and then not getting anywhere. And then the days go by, your relationships start failing more and more, your personal life starts, seeing all these other negative effects, your financial space starts seeing all these negative space. So when we use the home as this physical reminder of who you want to be and what you're striving for, we are able to get so much further. But the main aspect of creating that sacred home has to be your daily and consistent practice to breathe, to allow your mind to be more calm, to allow your mind to be more spacious, okay? So I know that that's a lot of repetition, but it's because it's really important. Yes, Debbie, subtle but major shifts, one room at a time. Absolutely. One breath at a time, one room at a time. But the best time to start is now. The best time to start is right now. That's been something that I have really been diving deep into in the last few days, is really being able to let go of the past. And even if you have had this very cluttered home for years, and even if you have these preconceived ideas that you cannot meditate, that you're just an anxious person, that you're just having a really fast mind that moves all of the time, I always like to hear and listen and hold space for people saying that, and then with a big giant smile I always respond, and you're not the only one, because everybody's mind is the same exact way. Everybody's mind is racing as fast. Everybody's mind is constantly on the go. It's why they call it a monkey mind. They don't call it a monkey mind because it's still and calm and centered. It's a monkey mind because it's always jumping, bouncing, and moving and doing all these crazy things. So if we can have that beautiful way to open up, to be more open-minded in discovering new ways to learn, new tools to adapt, so that we can train the mind in a way that's going to serve us, in a way that's going to serve our homes, in a way that's going to serve our relationships, serve our children, serve the world, then the time to start is now. I don't care if you never have tried it. I don't care if this is something that's new for you. You can do it. You can start. It is never too late. It doesn't matter what religion you have. It doesn't matter what age you are. It doesn't matter what physical capacity you have. None of that matters. What matters is that you have to be committed to who you want to be. You have to be committed to what your values are, or at least be committed to discovering what those values are, because they do change over time. And you have to be committed to give yourself a few minutes every day. Again, you brush your teeth every day. There's no reason you can't clean your mind, declutter your mind every single day. And even if we started there and we left the home alone, and you did not buy one single picture frame, did not buy one single pillow, did not do anything interior decorating wise, you will get to that same space of empowerment and that same space of sacredness, because the beauty is coming from within, not from without. And that alone should probably be a fifth shift in the masterclass that I share with you guys, because beauty does come from inside, not from outside. The outside beauty is simply an opportunity to remind us, is a more sort of worldly way to use this physical form, to use this physical environment of the earth where we live to just sort of create more connection in our day-to-day. But it is not the imperative thing. It is not the main thing. It's something I love when I walk into someone's homes or someone sends me a picture of their space because they need help with their home. They're always like, oh my God, I'm so embarrassed. Like, please don't judge. My house looks horrible. But when I've created this connection with a person and I've seen the beauty that they have inside, and I've seen their capacity of wanting to be better mothers, better persons, right? Better people, I always instantly can see the space they have with so much more beauty, not caring how bad it might look. I really don't. I can see objectively where I can help you. I can see objectively where you need to get rid of stuff. And I'm not scared or afraid to say, oh my God, that looks horrible, or oh my God, you need to get rid of it. I'm not afraid to be bold and say that to my clients when they ask me for that. Sometimes also when they don't ask me. But that's not the main thing. The reason it's called Sacred Interiors is not because it's just pretty, it's because it's deeper. And so I many times, even now, I still go through a process of making sure that my clients are going to understand that, because if they don't, they're not going to be a good fit for me. I don't care how much money you want to spend in decorating your home. If that's all you want to do, I'm not up for it. That's not part of my service. That's what's the word? My Spanish is kicking in. My English isn't. Shortcoming? No, it's not shortcoming. Shortchanging myself. I don't compromise the integrity of my business and the integrity of what I strive for in my business and what my mission and my vision is, only for helping the client and creating just a pretty space, if I don't see that connection of beauty from within is going to happen. So that's part of my process in determining if my clients are a good fit for me. And so if you're here, I'm assuming this is a good fit for you because you've gone through a process of asking yourself some questions about why you're here and reading what my space is about. And so I honor you and I am grateful for you, and I love engaging with you, and I love seeing the pictures you're sharing about what you're doing in your space. But please share with me what your mind decluttering process looks like. Share with me what your routine is. Share with me what you want to learn about in that space of creating a spacious, beautiful mind, so that everything else from there can show up as beautiful, spacious, and crystal clear. Okay, so thank you so much for watching. All of you guys that are some of my favorite people in here, thank you so much for watching. Let me know if you have any questions. Let me know if you have any interest or any comments. Feel free to engage. And thank you for watching and for popping here. We will see you next Tuesday. I'll be here with the 4th shift, and we can dive deep into that. And then we'll keep going on to some other trainings of things you guys have asked about, as far as energy centers within the home, as far as, which I'm fascinated with. I'm always amazed with what each room means in terms of your life, and I can go on and on about that. So we'll go into that. We'll talk about lighting, we'll talk about colors, we'll talk about pillows, we'll talk about all that stuff too, because that's part of what I do and I love doing that. It's just that that's something that I like to call icing on the cake, not, oh my God, cake sounds really good, but I'm not eating cake. So anyways, that's another story for another day, which I'll tune into to share what some of my experiences in that sense has been in terms of cake and food and sacredness, integrity, values, hopes, all of it together. It has been a wonderful, wonderful experience. So cupcakes, yes, Jamie, oh my God. Anyways, thank you so much. I'll see you guys later. I'm gonna go jump on another call with a client. Satnam, take care. Bye.